Right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is that time. Welcome to the Gretsch Afternoon Drum Break. I am very excited to be here on this inaugural episode interviewing Canadian Gretsch drum endorsers talking about their careers and their love of Gretsch drums. We're going to introduce our guest shortly, but just to give you an idea of how things are going to go, we'll take some questions kind of interspersed in amongst my questions and conversation with our guest today. So please, this is my first time doing this, so if I don't get to everybody's question, I apologize, but we will be taking some questions, and I will see if our guest is on right now, if he is watching. As you know, we have the very talented, legendary, multifaceted Canadian drumming icon, Mr. Paul DeLong, is the inaugural guest, and I'm really honored to have him take this call today. And it's great that we all have the time to be a part of something like this right now. When I asked Paul, I said, what is a good time and a good day for you? He said, let me check my calendar for you. He goes, I think I'm open for the next little while. So let's just see if he is available here. And I don't see him yet. Oh, there he is. I'm going to bring him on board. Excited for this? Hey!
Hey, oh man, I look like shit. Oh.
How are you, Paul?
I'm okay. I'm doing this on my phone because, I don't know, just because.
I went and put it on my iPad and have it all
Yep. Wonder if I can
nice.
do.
Well,
Maybe
you
if I
can
can.
move around
Yeah,
in the drum.
maybe I can switch to my iPad. I don't know. Hang
Yeah, do that.
on.
This is awesome. Well, most everyone knows who you are, especially drummers. But musicians alike know that you are a first call Toronto drummer and you've had success in all genres of music. And reading on your website, there's artists that I didn't even know that you had played with. I didn't realize that you had played with Tom Scott or Colm Wilkinson. The others I think I was pretty familiar with. But what a varied career so far. And and you're playing as great as ever. How do
Well,
you
I think.
feel about oh, well, and it's neat. I mean, I love seeing your drum videos downstairs behind the big yellow kit, and it makes me, yeah, and there we are, and it makes me want to shut it off and go, okay, I need to work about 8 more hours today. So anyway, so welcome, thank you for doing this.
Thank you. My pleasure. That's so cool.
It is a lot of fun. So I just wanted to start kind of back, we'll go back a little bit and, well, maybe a lot at the very beginning, kind of how did things musically start for you?
Well, hang on. I'm going to try and do this. Sorry, I'm new at this. That's better.
Me and you both.
Wait, I'll get rid of this light back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah. There we go.
Now we're going. Okay. So I still look pale as shit. I just don't know what's happening.
Yeah, we all do, right? We've been inside.
I haven't been out of the house in 2 days. Musically, okay, so there was a couple of things going on at once. My dad, he was a huge jazz fan, and he had a huge collection of 78s. Do you know what 78s are? Yeah, records, old records that went fast. He had all these great records, and I remember the one that really got me was Chick Webb and his orchestra playing this tune called Liza, and it was a drum solo, drum feature, and it just blew my mind. So I was constantly bombarded with that stuff, and then I saw Ringo on Ed Sullivan with the Beatles, and that was it. So these two things going on with rock world and jazz world, which I've always had in all my life. Like I've had the two things going on at once. So, but yeah, so that started it, and I started grabbing I got a waste paper basket and a pair of chopsticks and started my drumming career on that. And then my parents got me a snare drum. And then, yeah. But the Gretsch things started, I got my first set of Gretsch, I think, when I was 18. Um, and I got the first maple set of Gretsch that came into Toronto, I think, like because good finishes weren't popular yet, but so I think I got the very first one, and it was that was an amazing thing. You know, it was really amazing. Got me going now. You know what's really amazing about those drums was the first time I took a head off them and the smell of the inside
Oh,
of those.
yeah.
It was special. I don't know whether they still smell exactly the same, but it was a sweet, really cool smell to them, and I just loved it. You know, I loved everything.
I agree. It's the best I know. I'm gonna see if I can do. I don't know if my new ones do that too, but I agree about. Yeah. Where did you get the drum kit? What shop was that?
Oh, Long McQuaid's, when Long and McQuaid was at where the huge library is, it was Young, north of Bloor, a block or two, and there was a Long McQuaid's right there, and Lou Williamson, who was also my first teacher, was the one who
Okay.
sold the drums to me and or my parents. They bought them $650 for a four-piece set, 12, 13, 16, and 20. And wait, oh yeah, no, I had a snare. No, wait a minute. It was a 13, 16, 20, and I had a snare that my buddy had given me. Yeah.
Very nice. Now you're playing traditional grip, I assume back then. There's
Uh,
pictures. I've seen some pictures, or maybe were you playing matched and then you did, but then you switched completely to matched grip at some point. I believe you were saying.
yeah, no, I started out matched, and then when I was taking lesson stuff, I went to traditional, and I did that for a long time. And then around 1975, I switched back to match because I was getting into Billy Cobb and Lenny White and all those guys were playing matched, and I just wanted to be one of those guys. So yeah.
Now, was Gretsch kind of an accident, or was it a drum kit that you'd heard and went, man, I love the sound of that drum kit? What was that? What was that?
I was thinking about that when I was getting ready to do this, and you sent me some questions. So my dad took me down to George's Spaghetti House when I was about 12 to see Terry Clark was playing, and
Wow.
those drums of his, he had like a black set of Gretsch, I think, you know, the usual 12, 14, 18. But the sound of they sounded great, but something about the tone controls, the way those knobs looked, they were just the coolest looking drums. The die-cast hoops, the Gretsch
Yep.
logo. I just really, and the way the T rods on the bass drum, everything about them looked really cool, and they sounded great. And so I just, you know, I saw Olympic drums, and I thought, yeah, they're good. But Gretsch was it. Like I just love the look of them, you know, and the sound, you know. So
They really do have their own unique look. And now people are putting those tone controls back in and want those T rods and you know, the resurgence over the last few years. And now I'm thinking I'd really like to have some tone controls because instead of dampening the drum on the top, which a lot of times can just murder the volume, if you put the BFSD on the top, it's a lot quieter. Maybe the tone control. I think the issue was that they would rattle.
yeah,
So people
I
yanked them.
have about 15 of them if you want. We can make
Oh,
a
good. Good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And all the rims mounts too, because you're direct to shell now, correct?
am. I've gone old school. I was totally diehard Rims fan, and now I don't like the look of them and the whole hassle of them and everything. And the sound, like I know they open up the sound of the drum more and all that stuff, but the drums still sing without them. It's just the tuning range of where they sing is a bit smaller, but it works out fine and it's less of a hassle. And it's a different sound and it's more. Think of all the great albums that were made.
Yep. Yep.
You know, it can still sound great. My drums still sound great. It's just a bit different sound. That's all. And
Right.
they don't
Yeah.
forever, you know. So it's all right.
And I know, and how many times have I been on a session and you end up throwing stuff on the toms anyways.
Because they're
So
just ringing.
I know. We'll talk about tuning and what you do and your preferences a little bit later on here. But we had a question here. Um, So, can you talk about the impact that Billy Cobham has had on your playing?
Wow. Yeah. Well, I saw, as you know, I'm a huge Mahavishnu fan, like ridiculous. Oh, I should have brought my Gretsch mug downstairs.
I had tea out of it at your house. Thank you.
Yeah.
Best tea I ever had, next to Blackley's.
um,
Continue.
yeah. I'm a huge Mahavishnu fan, like ridiculous. And so I saw Mahavishnu play at Maple Leaf Gardens May 4th, 1973. I had never seen anything like Cobham in my life. Like, first of all, he's playing this big, clear set of fives, but he was riding with his left and just zooming around the kit like that. Like, not, I had never seen anything like that. It blew my mind, like how amazing he was. I remember after that concert, it was an out of body experience for me. That concert was a spiritual awakening for me, and I remember after that concert, I left and I walked around Maple Leaf Gardens 3 times, just shaking my head, just like unbelievable. You know, it was. And see, look, here's what a freak I am for Billy Cobb. On the wall over here. Wait, oh no, I got to do it like this. Sorry. There's hang on. Turn the light back on. There's wait.
Oh, wow.
Billy Cobham.
Wow.
He broke that head during that concert, and the roadie carried it off with the stick still sticking in it, and then changed the head, tossed the head to the side. My friend grabbed it. I talked for 25 years. I tried to get him to give me that head. He finally did, and finally in the 90s sometime, I got Billy to sign it, so now it hangs on my wall. But anyway.
Oh, that is amazing.
That's what kind of a freak I am for Billy Cobham. So,
Wow.
like huge